Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Red State dated today, the day I'm recording it, May 21st, and it's for the time I'm recording this, it only came out a little less than an hour and a half ago, and I saw this and I just went, I'm sorry, what? And I figured this was something that needed to be talked about, so here we go. It says, Rashida Tlaib funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars to anti-Israel activist-tied terrorist groups. Now, I haven't read the full article yet, so we'll see what it says, but my first thought upon seeing that was, get her ass out of Congress. She needs to be expelled immediately if this is the case. So it says Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat of Michigan, has been paying large sums of money to an organization with ties to Palestinian terrorist groups. As usual, legacy media has responded with a chorus of crickets. Tlaib has reportedly shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars to a consulting firm called Unbought Power, run by Rasha Mubarak, an anti-Israel activist with connections to radical extremists. And from that article that's linked there, it says Tlaib, who often faces criticism from both Republicans and Democrats for her anti-Israel rhetoric and defense of a phrase calling for the destruction of the Jewish state, has delivered more than $435,000 in payments earmarked for fundraising consulting since 2020 from her campaign and leadership PAC to Unbought Power, according to Federal Election Commission filings. The Florida-based limited liability corporation is operated by Rasha Mubarak, a close ally of Tlaib's who recently held key roles for terrorism-tied organizations in the United States. Before I continue on, I'm waiting to see what those organizations are. So, I mean, just saying that they are okay, but, we need to actually, what made them that, and what are they? It says the routine cash transfers from Rashida Tlaib for Congress and rooted in community leadership PAC to Unbought Power underscore how the Congresswoman has aligned herself with activists helping to coordinate operations for entities sharing connections to Hamas, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, and other terrorist factions. A joint fundraising committee for members of the squad, including Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, of course she's involved, Cori Bush, same with her, Ilhan Omar, of course her as well, and other Democrats also paid $86,000 to the firm run by Mubarak, who once said she is tired of hearing the lie that Israel has the right to defend herself against terrorism. Okay, so the same argument down to a personal level is like if someone's beating you, you're not allowed to fight back. Okay. So, sorry about that, swallowing. It says Mubarak has a storied history of making inflammatory statements against Israel, often accusing its government of engaging in ethnic cleansing and apartheid, because this is a person who's a propagandist and doesn't actually know what she's talking about. There's neither of those things is happening there, and this has been proven repeatedly, but sure. It says in September, she wrote a post on X saying, the layers of grief that Palestinians experience can be difficult to contextualize, especially when a large part is how normalizing the ongoing ethnic cleansing has grossly transcended. How about this? How about you actually know what's going on there, because this isn't it? And how about you don't start a war that you had no possibility of winning? Is that an option, do you think? Maybe you shouldn't have done that. So she has also been associated with the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, which supports the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions National Committee. There it is. A coalition that involves Hamas and Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, both terrorist organizations. And that was the answer I'm looking for, the BDS, folks. Yep, I see it now. All right. It says Tlaib's funding of these organizations has elicited criticism from Republicans and Democrats. A Democratic strategist told the Washington Examiner that these ties are disturbing, anti-Semitic, and un-American. Well, yes, all three of those. As Will Reinert, spokesman for the National Republican Congressional Committee, said Democrats as a whole have caved to their pro-terror base and abandoned Israel as they seek to help President Joe Biden win Michigan. Yeah, we've abandoned one of our oldest allies, one of our closest allies, just so Joe Biden could win a few votes in one state for the upcoming presidential election. That's really what it translates to. It says this revelation comes as the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza is becoming increasingly prominent in national political discourse. Tlaib has been a controversial figure in the debate over the Israel-Palestinian conflict since she first took office, and she has a long history of making anti-Semitic remarks. Now I got the hiccups. What the heck? Let me just finish the damn article. We're almost done. It says after the war broke out, Tlaib has been pervasive in the pro-Hamas movement, having participated in various anti-Israel rallies and co-signing anti-Semitic rhetoric employed by progressive activists. Mubarak is affiliated with Alliance for Global Justice, a controversial charity connected to various terrorist entities. It says Mubarak was recently listed as a press contact on the website of the Arizona-based charity Alliance for Global Justice, which has been cut off by payment processors and has lost top donors over a series of Washington Examiner reports on its ties to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. Alliance for Global Justice and its offshoots, including the Samidoun Palestinian Prisoner Solidarity Network, cannot fundraise online and are now instructing the public to mail checks to AFGJ's address in Tucson, Arizona. Recently, Tlaib has been criticizing the Biden administration for which he argues is a lenient approach to reining Israel in as it seeks to eliminate Hamas, which they have every right to do, and they should do, and tell them to just ignore the Biden government because who cares what they have to say because they're idiots. It says in February, she helped to lead a campaign to persuade voters in her state to vote uncommitted in the Democratic presidential primary. Yeah, there we go. So, so she is... it says here she's helping fund. This one says she flat out funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars to anti-Israel activists tied to terrorist groups. Why is she still in Congress? She should not be in Congress. This comes out, she should not be in Congress anymore. Like, as of now, as of the time you're hearing this, she should be gone. Okay, get a new person in there that is not a radical. That's not going to do this. And I think if anybody funnels money to any terrorist group, it's not because this is the Israel-Palestine thing, but if it's any terrorist group, get them out of Congress. I don't think that's like a very difficult thing to figure out, but Democrats aren't going to do that. They're just going to, as it said down here, legacy media has responded with a chorus of crickets. So that's probably all that's going to happen, and nothing's going to happen to her at all. I would almost guarantee that. Anyway, this is very disappointing news in the sense that it's very upsetting news. I shouldn't say disappointing, but upsetting news. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.